Welcome to a Woodchuck Night video. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 levels of grappling and your evolution as a grappler. So what am I talking about? It's been a little while since I made a video here on this channel. I've honestly been kind of busy, but also haven't had a lot of things to share. I recently did get a question though about someone who was saying, hey, I'm working on my grappling skills and I'm feeling like I'm getting stuck at certain levels. And that made me think about my own experience as a grappler and my experience as a wrestler night fighting and the levels that I've gone through. This video is going to be mostly for new to intermediate fighters. If you've already mastered these skills, then you probably don't need this. But it's really talking about your evolution as a grappler and the mindset you're going to have to get better at this sport. Let's start with the beginning. What I'm talking about is when you start grappling and you start wrestling with people, you're going to have a really hard time being offensive. You're going to have a really hard time overall. You're going to get thrown a lot and tossed a lot, and you're going to have struggles with that. I've got my son here, Tommy's going to help us demonstrate some of this stuff. But when you're a brand new grappler, your major goal is defense and escape, right? So that's where you want to start and fundamentally understand. You want to get good at defense and escape. So that's level 1. Most people pick this up pretty quickly if they have decent footwork and they've done other sports before, things like that. Might take you a little while, that's totally okay. But this is where you want to start. So what I mean by that is if I'm the new grappler and Tommy's wrestling with me, instead of going for a bunch of different throws or a bunch of takes, mostly what I'm trying to do is escape stuff. So as we grapple, Tom's going to wrestle me and I'm just trying to hand fight, get out of things. If he gets me in a bad situation, I'm trying to get out of that situation, right? So mostly my goal as a new grappler is to get away from my opponent, right? To escape things, to be able to get out of things, to have ways of defending myself. And most people will pick this up relatively quickly. It's a one-sided side of grappling. Because you're not offensive, you're only having to worry about one set of moves, your escape moves. So, you know, it might be something where Tommy gets me kind of in a little bit of clinch and I learn to raise the arm and get out of it. Things where I learn escapes and techniques. A lot of people will find themselves getting this level and feeling pretty comfortable and going, hey, I can do that. I can do that. I'm doing really well at that. Level 2 in your evolution is going to be getting into offensive positions or offensive control. It doesn't mean takedowns. It doesn't mean winning. It means offensive control. This is where that question I got came to me and it had me thinking about it, where the question was, hey, I feel like I'm getting to the clinch, but I don't know what to do from there and I keep getting stuck. And we certainly talked about techniques, but more conceptually, that's part of your evolution. You're going to get to where you can do things, but don't know what to do after you get that control. So that's going to be things like we're wrestling now, and now suddenly I'm getting Tommy into the clinch. I go, hey, I've got it here. What do I do from here? What do I do? And then I try a move, and then, or I try a move, and I overcommit, and I get thrown, right? Perfectly normal, getting control. So I might be getting where I go, oh, I'm getting in, I can get the arm drag, and I get him to here, and now I don't know what to do. I've got this control. What do I do from here? And I try something silly, and then I get put in a headlock or whatever it is. And, you know, a lot of dumb stuff will happen in there, and that's totally fine. Your second evolution as a grappler is starting to gain offensive control, but no finish. Level 1, defensive, just trying to get out of things. Level 2, getting control positions, but not knowing what to do. And level 3, for me, the jump from level 2 to 3 is the hardest one. That's when you're going to start making offensive moves and start winning things. The problem is, for most people, moving from that 2 to 3 feels uncomfortable and scary. You have to start overcommitting to steps in ways that will put you at risk. Best analogy I have for this, if anyone out there was ever a snowboarder, when you learn to link turns in snowboarding, you start going from riding on toe side to riding to heel side, that transition feels like you're going to fall. And you have to get past that feeling you're going to fall, where you're overcommitting feeling to where you have balance. So as an example, I'm going to start in a Sotogari with Tom. Step your other foot forward for me, just make it easy for the camera. So I started the Sotogari. And when I'm newer, I'm just trying to get this here. I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to do it way out here way away from my opponent, I'm way off balance, and I'm gonna get thrown. Every time. That's okay, that's okay. Once I've started getting some control, so I'm in the position, move your foot for me, I'm in the position to make the throw. You know, I've got a pretty good control here, I'm gonna make the throw. It's a bad throw, I'm not stepping, I'm not doing anything right, but I'm starting offensive. You're gonna have to commit to failing to get to that next level. Then, as I get better at it, I'm gonna start going, oh, I got the control, I'm gonna step correctly, come through and get that Asoto the right way. But at first, I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna overreach. I'm gonna forget to take that, or I'm gonna take that step real wide. We're gonna back it up a little bit. So I've got decent control, and instead of taking a good, strong step, closing the body, getting in there for the Asoto, when I'm newer, I'm gonna go take a way wide step, and I'm gonna get out here, and I'm really awkward, and I'm gonna get tossed. Or I'm gonna forget to step and just go hook the foot here. And all of a sudden, I'm the off-balance one, and I'm gonna get thrown. That's part of this process. Part of getting offensive is losing a lot of those attempts. Conceptually, what you want to be thinking though was I in a position to make the right offensive move? Was I being offensive strategically and thoughtfully and because it was the time to make the throw and I just did it wrong? Or was I scrambling and not knowing what to do? So that's your evolution. Evolution 1, defense, getting out of stuff. Evolution 2, getting good control and not knowing what to do and trying a bad throw, but thinking to yourself, oh, I had the control. I wanted to go for a guillotine. Instead of going all the way through, I tried to scoop the arm here and Tommy just went like this and I'm in trouble, right? So instead of closing paths for the guillotine in a way that I can control, I did it wrong, but I did it in a place where I was making the offensive choice. That's step 2 to 3. You're gonna have to fail a lot and analyze why you failed to be able to move to that next level. Hopefully, you've got a good coach, you've got good peers who can watch you and help teach you what you're doing wrong. Hopefully. If not, it takes a lot more work, and unfortunately, that's the way it is. The one other piece of advice that I would give fighters here, this is counterintuitive to almost all sport fighting advice that I give all the time, which is normally to get better at something, you need to train with people who are much better than you. If you train people worse than you, generally, you will fall to their level, you won't learn the skills, so you won't evolve as well as someone who's fighting someone or training with someone much better than them. This is an exception to that. To get good at offensive grappling, this is my belief, you want to wrestle people who are not as skilled as you, if possible. Level 1 and 2, you want to wrestle your skill or better, while you get better at defensive, we get better at clinch control. Once you are getting to where you need to start finishing throws, I find it's really, really beneficial to find someone who is less skilled than you or smaller than you perhaps. There is some skill size disparity, if possible. You may not have that, can't help it. Here's the reason for that. You need to land a few wins. You need to win a few times the grapples to get the feeling of what that body mechanic is supposed to do. Doesn't gotta be perfect, doesn't have to be the right throw exactly, but you have to understand what it feels like to win that throw, and then you can start honing it and tightening it up. If every time you throw it, you're a little off balance, you get dumped because the guy's way better than you, has way more counters and skill sets, that's gonna be a problem. So you wanna be wrestling near peer, or if you can, take time to find someone who's less talented or less skilled than you. Doesn't mean throw them around and beat them up. It means be very strategic. So if I'm wrestling, my son Tommy, big strong kid, he's also 15, I'm bigger and stronger than him, right? So if I want to win a throw, I can throw an Asoto, so we'll get it here, and I can, instead of doing it real well, I can do it kind of well, and I can still win that throw. And I can get the feeling of, oh, hey, I got that throw, and that's what it feels like, and then I can hone it from there. I think it's really important to have those periods of wins. So find someone who is newer at it than you. After you've gone through level 1 and 2, find someone who's at level 1 and try to win a few times. Gently, kindly, karate buddies, want to be nice to your peers, but get that feeling of winning and then step up to someone who's near peer or much better than you. Hope that makes sense. Again, it's part of that kind of skill set development of where you want to be and what you're thinking about working on. You only get better at things by thinking about a strategy, working on that strategy, and then analyzing that strategy. I think that's the most important part. 1, 2, and 3 of your grappling evolution. You're going to be defensive, then you're gonna be able to control a little bit, then you'll be able to win a little bit. But those jumps also take time. The other real hard part, again, I'll talk about my experience and other people that I've worked with grappling, is that these are not linear climbs. You will get to a level, and you will get to that level, and you will get stuck there for a long time, and then suddenly it'll jump up. We'll back up for a second. Leg sweep. I've been working on this same leg sweep for literally a year, where I was trying to get out here and try to tip them this way, and as they start to step, catch the foot. I couldn't land it for the longest time. I just could not. I kept trying it. I kept trying lefty, righty. I kept timing it wrong, but I kept trying and trying and trying. And one day, at one event, it clicked. I threw it, landed it, great. Next thing I know, I was throwing it all the time. Something clicked in my biomechanical, physiological understanding of my body. Not mentally, not emotionally, but within my body, the motion made sense. You're gonna have to practice this problem of grappling over and over and over again until you get all of those pieces aligned. A lot of times that last piece, the physiological alignment, that understanding of where your body is in space, it happens like that. It won't happen, then it'll happen. All of a sudden you can do that. So it's really hard mentally because you'll be struggling, you'll be trying something, you'll be working on it, you'll be knowing you're doing it the right way, and then it won't work. And then one day it will. So you just have to stick with it, have to understand that it is an evolutionary process and that it takes time. It's also important to say, again, these are not linear. These are not linear with all different techniques. I'm talking about grappling as though it's one comprehensive system. There are pieces of that are comprehensive, but each throw is mechanically different. You might be really good at 3 or 4 different throws and have those down all the way to level 3 where you are offensive and strong and you can land them. And then you go, I want to learn this other throw. I want to learn to do an inside leg reap that I haven't done. Or I want to do an uchimata or whatever it is. Well, guess what? You're starting back at level 2 on that. You're starting back to where you will get the control because you've been doing this for a while, but landing that throw is going to take you a while. You've got to be comfortable that to be really good at this, if you get at anything, you've got to be comfortable and humble with knowing there'll be times that you will step back to move forward. That's today's video. I hope that's helpful. Again, keep training, keep practicing, get better at the sport. I love seeing everybody out there leaving comments and messaging me with ideas. I'm the Woodchuck Knight. This is my son, Tommy. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later.